Okay, let's begin with some color coordinations or using some type of a color palette to standardize the look and feel of your website. Now, I shared a little bit over here. If you look at the websites, now here's one for food. Here's a better example here. You'll notice that there's a color palette coordination. You'll often find this on good websites. And it's something that pulls together the theme of the site. Now, this particular one is food, and the theme or the color themes for this is kind of almost like a yellowish olive, a darker orange. How do we actually achieve that? In fact, before we go further, let's look at another example. Handcrafted. It has a whole nother color theme here. A nice red, an orange, a green, a brown in the background. They're all consistent. Let's go ahead and target this one. This one's using mostly photographic material, allowing it to stand out from a white background. Let's take a look at some standard websites. Let's go, and this is even better here. Whether utilizing a couple shades of green, it's kind of hard to see back there, but a cyanish bluish, very light cyanish bluish with the yellow. Okay, so if we want, there are tools that Adobe provides for us that's going to assist us with this. Now, one of them you'll find in Photoshop. It's called Adobe Color Themes. As you can see here, I made a custom folder called Stephen Burns Color Library. If I drop this down, actually if I go to see if there's any others in here that may not necessarily, there we go. All right. There we go. So here I have other libraries, artwork, blueprints, 3D objects. So all this are the libraries where Adobe is giving you, I think it's like 20 gigabytes of hard drive space with your Creative Cloud subscription. So if I target on Stephen Burns Color Library, right down here are my color swatches. Websites are usually designed with about up to 5 colors within a color swatch. And you can see that these are colors that will work well together when you design a site. So, and I'm going to show you how we're going to apply it to designing a site in just a moment. But you can actually target anything here. So if I take this blue and target it, right, and click on it, I can use this to fill in colors on the actual website. Okay. All right. Now, if I go over to create, I'm going to target create here, and you can see it here in the top left-hand corner. I'm going to give it a moment. And as I click on it, I'm going to get an option here, or I'm going to wait. I have the color wheel. And I have several actually choices. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little sliders targets here, or targets. If I move them out, they're moving in coordination in such a way that it's going to target certain colors that are going to be harmonious together. And you can see right up here, the wheel changes. Okay. If I slide this around and rotate it, these 5 colors change based on where these targets are being placed. If I want the foreground to take on any one of these targets that I've already chosen, for example, like the green, if I click on the green, all right, I'm going to click on the green and watch what happens. What I'm doing is I'm targeting this color as the base color to redistribute across my palette. Once it's targeted, right down below here, we have several options. The first one is to click to set active color. That means to set that color to the foreground. So if I want a particular color to be targeted for the foreground, I'll click this symbol there. And now the foreground becomes that color, which you see that change right here in the color palette. If I go target the cyan here, and I want this color to be set as the active color, click it again, and the foreground color will allow you to choose that. Now, what else can I do with this here? Let's go drop this over, and just so that you're aware of this, I can change the visual look of my color picker here. I can go to the color wheel. I go to the brightness cube, like so, where we're dealing with hue and brightness. All your pure hues up here and all your brightness values right in here. Okay? From your pure brightness to various shades of darkness that we're going to apply to the colors. I want to keep it the way it is now. If I drop it down, I can also go to the color wheel. And now we get the wheel where we have our hue distributed across the wheel. And I can click and drag anywhere on any of these colors to select pure hue, pure luminance, or density, or pure black down here at the bottom, or a combination thereof. Okay, so we have those options. So if you choose to want to work this way, it's all up to you. What you're used to. Now I've got a grayscale slider, right? You can pick colors here this way. If I go over to RGB sliders, red, green, and blue, it changes my foreground color here automatically, which you can see it also changing here in the palette. Okay, so you have that option. Web color sliders. So this is colors that are going to be web safe. Okay, I'm going to go back to, how about if we go to the color wheel? Let's work with the color wheel this way. Now, other ways to create colors, all right, so that it'll reflect the theme that you want to use for your website. I actually gave you a link in the overview for this particular week. That link, click on the link, that link is going to take you over to, let's see, this website called Adobe Color. Now, that's the same thing as the color that we have in Photoshop, except it's online. I find this one to be more effective. So online, it gives you various options: analogous, monochromatic. You see what's happening down here? Triad, complementary colors, compound colors, shades, and custom. If you notice on the top right, it's saving to, as it shows you here, to Stephen Burns color libraries. If I scroll down to the bottom, you can custom create. Now you have to be signed in to your Creative Cloud account to achieve this. So create a new library if you so choose. You can make it your name and call it your color library. I've already done mine, and I'm already in that library. So I can save these to that library. That is where, let's go back into Photoshop, that is where my themes library here came from. So if I click on my themes, it's going to take a hot moment for it to come up, and there it is, because it's accessing my online library. All right, Stephen Burns color library pops up, and here are all my themes that I saved from that palette. This is how I achieved that. Come here, I can start dragging. Remember those targets? You have 5 targets total. I can start dragging them around to make adjustments for this target. Okay. All right, now I can do this manually here, or what if I want to use an image? Extract from image. Next to the color wheel in the top left-hand corner, extract from image. I'm going to click it. I can drag and drop here. I'm going to go over the bridge where I have a bunch of different images. I'm going to drag it down a little bit so I can see the web page behind it. And I'm going to choose this fruit image to drag onto that. So I'm going to click and hold, drag it onto. You can see it highlight, release it. There's the image, right? And now there is my color palette here. I'm going to hit Command minus to zoom it down a little bit more. And it's targeting the areas of this image that it feels it's going to pick some colors that are going to work together. I can target save now if I like that. I can either come in here and drag it around to different aspects of the fruit. Okay. Grab this background. You can see the changes happening already. So these are the targeted colors, which are targeted by what we see here in the fruit image. Click Save. So you can choose. Now it says theme has been successfully saved. Okay. And that is going to show up inside Photoshop. Right. Inside this folder here. Okay. All right. So now that you have an idea of a clever little idea of how to create colors to create a harmonious color palette for your website. Let's go into Photoshop and start talking about how to start organizing um, the workflow or the user interface inside of layers, layer groups, and layer objects or smart objects.